Howdy, this is Stephen Rios with the Propolympians podcast, episode 1. I'm here with Matt the Yeti Graves. If you want to get to know a little bit more about me and the Yeti and who we are, what we do, and why we're doing this podcast, you can actually go back and check out episode 0 to learn a little bit more about us and, like I said, what we do and why we're doing this. But we want to keep this relatively short, as much as we can, and get you the good stuff. So, Matt, tell the people how they can hear us in the various different ways.
Yeah, so we're doing it in both video and audio. It's on YouTube. We'll make sure that the YouTube link goes out in all the old Maroon socials we can. On audio, it's on Spotify, Apple, Google. For Blake Pellerin, it's on Podcast Addicts. I don't know what that is, but it's there. If anybody listens to any other podcast apps, just let me know and I can get it up on it. There's a million of them out there, and if you got one you like, just let me know and I can put it on there. Also, it's being hosted on Substack, which is kind of a blogging newsletter type platform, but it's got a podcasting thing. So you can also subscribe to it on Substack, and you'll get all the emails every time one goes out. We're trying to keep these on a regular basis, but, as the season changes and stuff like that. But subscribe to the Substack and you'll get the email every time one comes out. So.
Cool. Thank you, Matt. Before we introduce our guests, I do want to show you guys how easy it is to go in and pay the recurring donations to Old Maroon. Some people may ask why, and we're hoping that, the conversation we have with these guys help you understand where your money can go through by utilizing Old Maroon to pay. There's a couple different ways. So Matt will put a link down below to make this gift, and you have the opportunity to click on 3 different ways, or 3 different ways to give. You can do it as a one-time gift. Okay, you can click on it, for a one-time gift, and it has certain amounts here, but you can also put in, if you want to give a certain amount that you feel is necessary, you can do that. Or what, a lot of people have done is do a monthly recurring donation. I give $21 a month. It's not much, but over the course of a year, it adds up. And I think I've been doing it for like 7 or 8 years now. So this is a great way to help the Old Maroon club continue to have a recurring income to be able to give to the team on a regular basis. If monthly doesn't work for you and you'd rather it be annually and come out a year, once on a certain day you pick every year, maybe your birthday, you can do that as well, and you can choose that amount. So once again, Matt will have that link down below for you to go in and get that set up. And, of course, if you have any questions, reach out to your Old Maroon board members, or you can even reach out to me and the Yeti. So, but with that being said, we want to kick off, our first true, podcast with a couple guys from the club. They're admin for the club and also current players. We spent probably the first 10 minutes getting to know them, but they know that they're good. The first part is them introducing themselves, who they are, where they're from, when they started playing rugby, their major, and all that good stuff. So, Matt Mancillas, will you kick it off for us?
Well, my name is Matt Mancillas. I'm the club treasurer, and to kind of just tell you guys a little bit about me. I'm from Dallas. I attended Jesuit College Preparatory up there, and that's where I started playing rugby my freshman year. So that was 2016, I believe. 2015, 2016. Played football for a year as a freshman as well. However, realizing that I wasn't going to grow anymore at my solid 5'7", I realized I needed to do a different sport. So I eventually wound up at rugby and have fell in love with it ever since. And I'm actually a 9. I was just mentioning to Steven and Matt earlier that I'm a forward pretending to be a back, and for some reason I picked the back position that does the most running. Let me tell you, it's Fun is a great way to put it. And but I'm a current senior here at A&M. I'm in the business school. I'm in the PPA program, studying accounting, and I'll be getting my master's in MIS, graduating in December of this next academic year. So yeah, that's me.
What's MIS?
Oh, management info systems. It's like business tech.
Gotcha. What other club were you part of?
Oh, I was the founder and president of the Aggie Barbecue Club. I also led the Scuba Club here on campus and was in other organizations as well. But Aggie Barbecue Club was the big one.
Him and I talked a little bit about this, the sous vide reverse sear method, So here in Fort Worth, we have I think I visit frequently as a forward front row player and prop. But there's the Panther City Barbecue. There's 4 or 5 within a 3-mile radius that were in the top 20 of Texas Monthly Barbecue. So whenever y'all come up to Fort Worth, dude, you need to check that place out. Well, you're from Dallas, so make the trip over, the 360 line.
Hey, it's easy enough.
It'll be worth your while, for sure. Manu.
Right, so I'm Manu Zapata. I'm originally from Argentina, so that's where I started playing rugby. Kind of a cool story. I'm in the middle of 3 brothers. So I have an older and a younger brother. My older brother started playing, and obviously, big brother starts playing. I got to start playing. I got to follow his steps. I've been playing since I was 5 years old, so this was my 18th or 17th year playing rugby. I've moved quite a bit around the world, and everywhere I went, I've always played. Position, well, when I was younger, I was short and fat, so I was the front row. And then I hit puberty, and I went to fly half because I could run, apparently. And that was just a new start. So then when I moved to the U.S., I ended up back here in 2016, and I played for the Woodlands Rugby, which is where my parents are as well, which I'm currently am in the Woodlands. I played fly half there, and then Coach James poached me and was like, "Hey, you're playing fly for A&M." Similar to Matthew, I am a business major with my undergrad and doing my master's in MIS tax technology, just more focused on the tax side. Graduating in December as well.
I'll have to say, to be fair, every front rower thinks they're a fly half anyway.
Yeah, well, I just got the puberty, so I got a little skinny, and then they're like, "Yeah, we don't need you there anymore." And I'm also a current club president.
Okay, cool. The reason us front row players can feel like we can play fly half better is because we see the field better from the position of coming up from the ruck or the scrum half, and you're or the scrum, and you're already downfield. It's what the hell is he doing? You need to be over on the left side, So at least that's how I feel. Quick question for you, Argentina. Yep. What's your mate game like?
Oh, on point. I drink mate every day. It's my go-to. I have to.
Wait, is that bitter drink that you and Matthias have?
Yes. That's why. So there's 2 more other RGs in the team, and when we go to away games, even home games, we bring our mate with us, and everyone's just looking at us weirdly because they don't know where it is.
Do you drink it before the match?
Yes.
So me and the Yeti, there was a group of Uruguayan brothers, the Campbells, and before every match they sat in their circle, drinking mate before the game, and for me, if I had 1 or 2 sips, I'm doing a pre-game dump for sure, just,
oh yeah, me too.
I'd rather wait till afterwards. So
that's the best part. It makes me feel light when I'm in the field.
Oh, okay.
It's a cleanser. The weight cutter.
Yeah, there you go. Griffith, man, tell us your story, dude.
Hi there. So my name is Griffith Greenwood. I'm originally from Lenore, North Carolina, but I'm an Army brat. So for those of you who don't know, I haven't spent more than 3 years in one spot since I was 3. So moving around different places, I've been in and out of the country. I went to high school in Killeen, Ellison in Killeen. It's near Fort Hood. So this is actually my first year playing rugby. I'm a transfer student in from Georgia Military College to A&M. So I started this year. I loved it. I'm a tight head. I'm big. I can run okay, but not as fast as Matthew or Manu. They can attest.
I mean, saying me is generous.
They're still good. I'm still learning a lot of the rules and position. I'm no longer like a chicken with its head cut off, almost. Like I'm trying to work on the skills. And then I'm a junior right now, and I'm a psychology major. I'm planning on going to graduate school and getting my PhD in clinical psychology for the military.
Okay, cool. Are you going into the military? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
you're going into.
So
okay.
I'm currently an officer. I'm a commissioned officer within the Texas National Guard because I went to a 2-year institute, got my commission, had to come to a 4-year to finish my bachelor's degree, and then normally I would just go straight into active duty. But since I'm trying to do my PhD through graduate school here, I have to apply for this thing called EdDelay. It's like this whole, EdDelay. It's like this whole long process, but if I go into it, I go in as a captain versus my current status as a second lieutenant.
Okay, cool, nice. Well, once again, gentlemen, appreciate you guys coming on. I kind of want to talk about the current season. Y'all obviously y'all won the Red River, right? Y'all killed some of the teams out there throwing some centering points on there, right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all just played Cal Poly on Tuesday night, and the scoreboard didn't go in your favor, right? Tell us about what happened. Because from us, what I was able to watch before it went off for like 20 minutes. Y'all were competitive, man. Y'all had, right off the kickoff, y'all threw it out to the wing, and I thought that guy was going to break it all the way through. So there were some moments where I was like, oh gosh, we're there, and from what I saw, y'all were competitive, and they're a good team. Both of y'all are ranked in the top 15, so like the competitiveness is there, interested to hear y'all's take on the game and, the season too. So
if you don't mind, I want to start, this season was actually completely different from any season we've had previously, to my knowledge. We've expanded our club significantly, so I like to say that our season actually started in September of last year. It didn't just start right now. Although the Red River did, our Gray side was playing the Lone Star Cup, which was amazing for us. It was a huge step to promise players everyone gets minutes. Right? If you come join A&M Rugby, you are guaranteed minutes on the field because we have 2 teams competing locally and then hopefully at a national level. Right. Then yes, the Red River did start, and we came out to the Red River to make a statement. We were not here to play around. We were here to make a national statement, meaning you don't come and mess with Texas A&M. Right. We want to be back on the national board where people fear when they hear the name A&M Rugby. We want everyone else to be like, okay, they're coming to play, and the only way we can do this is when we play these teams like Cal Poly, or back on the phone we played Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to recap the Cal Poly game, I think we faced our reality, which is we need to travel and play experienced teams to get better, right? And like you said, Rios, we smashed some teams in the Red River Conference, right? I think our 4 points, we had 400 points in favor and 12 against, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We got scored on twice, which should put you in perspective of we need to travel in order to get these games. And Cal Poly coming to us was great, right? We realized, I think we were there all the time, but there's the slight things where Cal Poly gets to compete with UCLA, St. Mary's, Cal, right? And they because they get to do this on a daily versus we need to travel to them, or they need to come to us and we don't. It's just a reality of things. However, we have such a young club, right? I think our average age is probably 20, right? And it's great experience, 19. They get this experience, and now us going into live will be a completely different game, I think.
Yeah. Nice. I remember they're saying how many seniors are on the team right now? You don't know?
5?
There's Manu, myself, our vice president, and then 2 others. So 5.
5 out of 46.
Yep.
Wow.
No, that's fantastic as far as y'all getting that experience, man. You know, like y'all were very similar to like when me and Matt were there. You know, that our sophomore year, I don't know how many seniors we had, but it wasn't many. You know, and we were able to come back and be really competitive. And by our 5th year, we're in the Sweet 16s again. You know, so I think y'all are on the right track, man. I know y'all have some recruits coming in too. So y'all are still going to be, probably heavily young, I guess, next year as well. But, eventually, like, it starts catching up and you're going to have that experience.
Yeah.
Even though, like you said, like, I think that was the big thing, like in our old boys text, Yeti, like, yeah, we could see, like, some of those guys were just bigger than y'all, and it was probably just due to age, That counts for things. When we played BYU and they were, 25, 26, like us guys that were 20, 21, 22, we could feel it,
They're grown-ass men.
So,
what's y'all season like? Y'all playing 7s in the fall, then 15s in the spring? Is that
it alters. So this year, 7s was in the fall, and we'll go to nationals at the end of beginning of May, and then it should alter next year. It will have 7s in the spring.
Really?
And we'll start 15s in the fall.
Every year flip-flops?
Yeah, the Red River just, I don't know what they want. They just flip it every. That's how it was our freshman year with Matt. We did 7s in the fall, right? And then if it wasn't for COVID, we would have done 7s in the spring the following year.
Was that a little difference from when we played, because we didn't even play 7s. Like 7s, you went home to your men's club, your local men's club, played 7s in the summertime, and we played 15s both fall and spring. So you got a lot more game time, a lot more reps, really.
Right.
I mean, our 7s team dominates down here still. So we're sending them off to nationals in early May, but thank God nationals is in Houston. All I had to do was just book a hotel.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll need to put together a big tailgate or something for that, Rios.
It's at the SaberCats Stadium, if y'all wanted to know. It's the Aveva, they're hosting it again.
In
When
May?
is that?
May 5th through the 7th.
Yep.
Cinco de Mayo weekend. Yeti. We're having a
Fiesta.
Yeti party.
Let's go. The Yeti Fiesta.
Interesting. So, how long? When does the seventh season start? It's in the fall, but is that from August when y'all first arrived until September?
We started in September, right, Matt?
Yeah. So actually, funny enough, Manu and I were working on this the other day. So the 7s, how the whole thing is set up is now that we have the gray side in Lone Star Cup, we have essentially half the team working on gray side skills. So this is our incoming freshmen. These are guys who are in the club a little bit more casually than other players, but also this is where people will learn our developmental gray side. So we're getting them guaranteed games against teams across the state, whether it is who we play. We played
ASU, Sam Houston, Texas State.
Yeah, we played UD, UTSA, and these other teams. So they're doing that, and then the 7s guys, which are traditionally, or at least typically for our team currently, more maroon-based players, they were playing in tournaments. We had a Denton 7s game. We had Denton 7s tournament, Austin 7s tournaments, and that was back in September. And then the championship was in October of last year. And so after that, we have a few 15s games scattered throughout the later fall semester. And then when we get into spring, it's a heavy focus on maroon. Part of the deal of A&M Grayside joining Lone Star is that we can't participate in their playoffs.
Right.
So we then we put all our resources towards maroon side and getting the best team assembled that we can.
Gotcha. Interesting. Y'all talked about traveling more, and we'll talk numbers. Maybe numbers is for y'all to compete more competitively. for the maroon side. I'm assuming how's the competition level for the gray side?
So, gray side,
Griffith
there's a good
as well.
level of competition. Now, granted, if we were to bring out a maroon squad, you would see.
Yeah.
I believe you would see points similar to what we saw this season or whatever. But for our gray side, for guys who have never played together or guys still learning the game, or, quite honestly, are playing it a little more casually, there's some good competition.
Good.
Now, there are a few teams that we kind of just rolled over. However, like, who do we play? Sorry, I'm looking at a schedule on a different monitor here. We played Texas State, and that was one of the most exciting rugby games I've seen for the past 2 years.
Nice.
I will personally attest to that. I was on the field for that one.
In the fall, so.
And for the gray side, I would definitely have to say, for me coming in and not knowing anything about rugby, having those kind of beginning games, because I got moved up to maroon, but having those gray sides just to kind of get a better introduction and knowing where people are on the field versus on a practice, like just on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, versus when you're actually going against someone who's going to hit you hard. We hit hard, but it's a different atmosphere in my opinion. So
especially when you get that slide punch in a ruck, and you're like, wow, that doesn't happen in practice.
Yeah. So for a veteran prop, what are they doing during the fall? Are they in some sort of like a strength and conditioning program, or are they just helping out?
They're preparing. They're helping the gray side develop, right? And then, yes, the expectations that everyone's hitting the gym, regardless of it, coming to practice, helping the gray side, and realistically prepping for the 15s games that we will have. Because we have 3 15s games in the fall, and we needed to be ready for all 3 to be ready to go. So while there's the 7s guys training 7s, the gray side is training, the left maroon is practicing together, getting the chemistry going.
When did those maroon games really, or when did 7s end, and maroon practice, as you were saying, really start and kick off? What was the time frame for that?
So October. I don't remember the exact date for October. We hosted the
17th. Sevens ended on the 17th.
On the 17th, the following that was a Saturday. That Tuesday, we were all 15. We were ready to go on 15th.
So in October is the start of maroon side.
I would say mid October is the start of 15s, and it'll go all the way to the next few weeks, depending on how we do against life.
Gotcha. So I did see, as I was looking through some of it, Arkansas is joining next year. Is that correct?
That's exciting.
Yeah. Very exciting.
So is it University of Arkansas or Arkansas State?
Arkansas State.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, go back to Jonesboro.
Man, that was their rugby.
That was a time.
Jonesboro was terrible. I can't say we never had a bad time in Jonesboro, though, the Yeti. But man,
it was always a time.
Yeah,
anytime it happened.
Yeah, but man. So where has Arkansas State been? What have they been in the same competition that y'all been in, or where were they?
Yes. So they were doing. Go ahead, Matt.
They were like an agent almost. They were kind of just getting games where they could. Manu, you would
They were in a conference. I just don't remember which one. It's whatever's east of us. But it was weird because they would play D1A games and then NCR games as well to kind of get their points and then somehow make it to playoffs. Right? Huh. And then whatever conference they were in dissolved. And so by proximity, we're the closest, so they'll join the Red River.
Gotcha.
Well, and what's great about them joining is that Manu made an earlier point. We were talking about the Cal Poly game. Is it's competition. Like Cal Poly has the availability to be next to a bunch of just really good teams and really stellar teams in the states. And competition breeds excellence. So. Yeah. When we right now we currently have a dominant team in the Red River Conference, and we're beating teams 140 to nothing. Like it's hard to get better from a game like that.
Yeah.
When you score every 4 minutes. So having this new team come in is going to be fantastic because they're a great team.
Yeah.
And now we finally have someone in Red River to really compete against.
Yeah. Question:
which I'm excited.
I know we did a couple of times, Matt. Excuse me, Matt. The Yeti, and I know the some of the older boys or the guys our age asked the question: have y'all considered like playing against or like playing a game against some of like the local men's clubs against
Yeah.
you know like
we have.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Yeah,
I mean,
we did. So not obviously last fall, but the fall before that, so fall of 21, we played against the SaberCats Academy and the Houston Arrows, I think they're called.
Yeah, I remember that.
We played against them. We do, but it's hard to fit them around our schedule because, from my understanding, most seasons start towards the end of the fall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the spring. And since we're the only ones active, usually some men's clubs are like, oh, we haven't started yet. Like, we just began practices, so it's difficult for them to adjust again. And then when they are available, either our season's already over or we're coming towards the end, and it's where we're hitting finals.
Stay healthy.
Right. We're hitting finals at college, and everyone's like, no, I'd rather just study, and availability really decreases.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and that was actually part of the reason why we got into Lone Star because, like,
Yeah.
at least for those players who aren't the players to be on Maroon, like we want to get them games, get them experience. That way, when they do show up on Maroon, they know the
ready to
game
go.
in some fashion.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right.
I'd imagine there's some men's clubs, though. I mean, if you guys are interested in it, in the next year, that some of the ones that with the more players, they could always just throw together a team really without, like the Austin Blacks and some of those, the Reds, and the teams that are getting 100 guys out to trainings. They've got enough guys standing around where if in, say, August, September, y'all want to throw a game together, some of those teams like that, the more developed team, or the bigger clubs could probably throw together a team for you and be competitive.
Yeah.
Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I think it's a opportunity for y'all to, and I say for y'all, it should be shown as a way that those clubs can potentially recruit you guys to come and play with their
True.
right post-graduation. Because I know like the Quins used to do that for whenever we played.
Yeah.
When we went and actually played Arkansas State, we actually stopped in university, there was an Arkansas men's team. Was it Little Rock? Yeah, we went to Little Rock and played. And I remember like some of them calling me like, "Hey, so what are you doing? Post graduation?" I was like, "I'm not going to Little Rock, bro. Like, sorry, I'm going to Little Rock, Arkansas. Like, y'all had a great club and y'all hosted us very well, but I'm going to stay in Texas, dude." So I think that's something that not only you guys, but like Old Maroon needs to, and the members of those clubs at Old Maroon that are Old Maroon members need to like, hey, see if we can't get these guys a game because it's beneficial for both. Growing that community, the rugby community in general within their own club. The Fort Worth men's team. The coach is a Old Maroon member, Mike Sexton. I know he's like really interested in trying to build a better bridge for Old Maroon members to be part, or Aggie rugby to be part of Fort Worth. As I'm a Fort Worth guy too, but I know like Chief is always pushing the Quins. Cowdy has been part of the Blacks for a number of years. I mean, there's guys that are within those clubs that can make it happen. It's just making sure like we get like, hey, this is the reason why like we have to do it so that Aggie rugby gets local competition better and not have to spend $15,000-$20,000 for a weekend trip to go play
Anywhere.
Aries or something.
Anywhere.
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 All right.
That's one of your upcoming
Tap.
presidential things to do.
Yeah. Well, so kind of that segue into that,
With that said, though, Griffith, if you need help, if you ever need help getting any of those games scheduled, let me or Rios know. We know pretty much every club in Texas.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's a.
I won't. I'm going to take you up on that. I mean,
Yeah,
don't offer
definitely.
if you're not serious, because I'll do
No,
it.
let us know. I mean, we know. I mean, honestly, we have contacts throughout the whole state, so let us know.
Yeah,
Perfect. No, I appreciate that.
like,
Thank you.
The probably the reason y'all got the game with the Arrows is because Blake Pellerin like helped started that club, and he was
there you go.
Yeah, Old Maroon president for a number of years pre-COVID. I say number of years, like 4 or 5 years. He was the one that volunteered me to be his vice president.
Oh,
So,
there you go.
so yeah, I mean, and there's probably 3 or 4 of us on that team as well. They just won and are going to playoffs as well. I think for their Division 3 team, maybe, I don't know, but they're a competitive club, and I guess they gave y'all a pretty competitive game. Was it last year or the year before?
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and that was an hour drive, maybe.
Yeah.
Way better than going to Arkansas. So, but yeah, they're there, man. And I think that, like you said, Manu, it's like just need more competitive games, dude. It's there. Y'all have the talent. It's just get
I think it's also an issue of we don't know our calendar till August.
Yeah.
Right, and that's out of our control, right? Because that's the Red River. Ironically, Lone Star does it pretty well. They release their calendar like early June so they can prep. But Red River is like, yeah, we'll get it to you. And then it's like, if we don't get it to you this week, then in the next 2 weeks. And if not, read the message again.
Wow.
And so that was also part of the issue why I'm pretty sure we couldn't schedule fall games against men's clubs. It's just because we didn't know what our schedule is going to look like. And again, now we don't know what it's going to look like in the fall either.
Yeah, we're not going to know until probably July.
With luck.
Or like late July, early August maybe.
And maybe that's why our Old Maroon game was so late in being set too as well. Because I know some of our Old Maroon guys were like, when's Old Maroon, right? For us that have like businesses and kids, like it's tough for us to like get the the hall pass from the wife and the kids to like come out and play.
Right.
So the more time that we can have in advance, the better, And we definitely, I know the Old Maroon base definitely wants to give you all the game too. So
we're fully aware.
Well, cool. Well, what are the questions you have for us right now?
Well, I'll say from a treasure perspective, I mean, Old Maroon has won. We've really worked with Old Maroon very well this year. At least from our end, between myself and Doug, the treasurer for Old Maroon, we have done well, at least like in creating having a relationship between the club, but like you guys being very helpful in helping us out, and us trying to give you guys as much forewarning as possible with expenses coming up and doing this or doing that. Like we plan on doing this, or what we're doing with club funds, which is partially why we're here. And kind of the question becomes is like, what we kind of changed this year was like we wanted to give you guys forewarning on everything coming up. So one thing that I experienced in the past I didn't really enjoy is us coming to Old Maroon and being like, money, please. We need $15,000 by the end of the week, or we can't go to X. And I don't like that as an accounting major. No. That's just poor planning. So we've really tried to give you guys heads up on like doing this, telling you guys some fixed expenses that we have year over year that aren't going to change. So that way, like if Old Maroon wants to cover it, or if Old Maroon has the availability to cover it, then they know that it's this much and it's due then. So creates a sense of clarity. My question for y'all is, what could we also continue striving to be better at with y'all? Is there something that we're not doing, something you guys prefer we do differently, or anything like that?
I think you're hitting it on the head though, like already, and like I think we had a pretty good momentum going into COVID, and the Yeti and I talked about this, previously, that this COVID kind of killed the momentum of Old Maroon, as far as like some of what we were doing, and being able to get some information out there. But this right here is what we need, is the communication piece, because like y'all are traveling to, is it Marietta?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marietta, Georgia
Yeah.
next weekend, right?
Yes.
What's the bill on that? Is that like 15K, 20K, right?
I mean, if we're just gonna like start throwing in financials, the total trip costs about $80 less than $16,000.
So 16K.
16K.
Yeah, 16K.
So, as that's to just find that out of the budget, like, and try and come up with that, like, that's just not like, where is that going to come?
I mean, we're kind of naturally drifting in this conversation that we've planned on having, but this year the reason why Old Maroon actually didn't hear it is because the club was in a fiscally able position to handle it. I've been prepping for playoff a playoff expense like that since August.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to come up to you guys and be like, please, like money, please. Now, if we win and we go somewhere next year, you guys will be getting an email from me. The subject is money, please.
Well, so we're saying, as in, so next year we go to playoffs, we're in trouble.
No. I'm saying
if we win this week, if we win against Life and we have to travel again, then we're gonna go to Old Maroon and be like, hey.
Well, funny enough, Old Maroon actually had some remaining funds for that, so it actually won't be a whole 16K. Doug and I have worked well at managing our funds, so like when we have these surprise trips, because we didn't know we were going to go to Atlanta until last Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
Essentially. I mean, like this previous Monday.
Right.
So I had been planning for that because I knew it was going to come up, and I knew it was going to be flights, and I knew it was going to be a lot of money. So the club is able to foot this whole playoff, and then Old Maroon has a hold of funds that's designated for travel. That if we were to win this game and go on to playoffs the next week, we wouldn't be coming up to Old Maroon going like, "Hey, we need 18K to go here." It's like, "Hey, we need 6,500."
Gotcha.
And that's just saving rather than spending where you can, and that's avoiding expenses there while putting more money there.
Yeah.
Now for next year, hopefully the cycle will repeat. We have savings with Old Maroon, but also the next team does a good job at saving money. Griffith.
I'd say that strategy's paid well for you, but it's also kind of hurt you guys on competition-wise, right? Because you're saving for this playoff run, right? But you're not spending money throughout the season. Like, we would take a spring break trip every year. We'd go to, like, California and go play a few teams in California, or we'd go to Las Vegas during sevens and play BYU and Utah and, like, these high-caliber teams. So you're not spending the money there to get the competition. So it's, I guess what I'm getting at is if y'all had more money, you could get better competition, better games.
I mean, if we had more money, we could do everything. With the spring break trip specifically, how you guys mentioned COVID killed all momentum. COVID kind of killed our spring break trip thing.
Yeah.
So one thing that we're doing next year is actually we're taking a fall break trip. So we get a fall break now in the fall semester. And we get a fall break trip. We're actually going up to Colorado to go play
Air Force.
CSU, Air Force, maybe even Boulder, although 3 games in 3 days would be pretty tough. But it's going to be, I mean, we're trying to get back onto that travel and saving money for that. So
3 games in 3 days is tough. Matt, we did it actually in Colorado. So
in the snow.
It was our sophomore year when we went to Westerns, which is we had Western playoffs before you went to Sweet 16s. And, like, in the Western playoffs, we had to play 3 games in 3 days.
Right, Saturday, Sunday.
It was – I've never – like, that was tough.
Physically tough.
Yeah.
That Sunday game was the coldest I've ever been on a rugby pitch. It was snow. It started snowing during warm-ups, and it was miserable.
Yeah. And just to the altitude. So we got in a whole, like, day before, I think, just to have a practice – and, like, get acclimated to, like, the altitude.
Right.
Matt, do you remember who we played? Did we talk about this?
We played Nebraska one game. We played Nebraska the first game.
Wyoming?
And maybe Wyoming beat us on Saturday. Maybe, I don't remember.
And then it was Colorado. Okay, cool. I think me and Chase were talking about this the other day on the phone, trying to remember what 3 teams it were.
The only thing I remember about that trip was we had ice baths. It didn't with no ice in it because Johnny just filled up the kiddie pool before we left. He filled up the kiddie pool at the hotel before we left, and we come back to the hotel after the game. You have to break the ice to get in.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually a picture of me and Jake. What's his new name? He's like a movie star now.
It's Lockett still.
We knew him as Jake the Snake, and now his name's like Jake Ryan or something. What's his real last name?
Lockett?
Jake Lockett.
Jake
Yeah,
Lockett.
there we go. But yeah, he's actually like on the cover of Call of Duty. Like that's his face. So, but he was the Russ from.
Was it Chicago Fire he's doing now?
That's right.
The main character in Chicago Fire.
But going back to that, like the travel piece, like, we have to, and I say we, like us and Old Maroon, have to make sure that we somehow figure out a way to fund those trips for that those competitive games for you guys. And I think just for the experience of it, because, like, we had a fall and spring break trip every year, and that was kind of like our sometimes humbling, games to like go back and be like, hey, this is the stuff we got to work on, before spring break, like we'd have some success and then we'd have just like some really competitive games that really help us grow as a team and as a club, because those are two different ways to grow in this sport, like making sure the second side gets a game and travel time with the Maroon side to see that competition level, what they need to get to, and to have that want to be better, to wear the first side jersey, I think that's a big thing. So,
man, it made us a better club too. I think just the camaraderie and like it was a literal team building exercise of going on these trips and stuff. And anyway, I think it was great.
Yeah. So, looking at what you sent us, thank you, by the way. Y'all had 46 total members this year, right?
And active members.
Active members.
For the spring, correct? For the spring, that is.
All right, kind of over the course of the whole year.
Okay.
There was peaks and spikes, but, people leave.
Like active 46? Okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
When you say there's peaks and spikes, like at the peak, how many do you think y'all had like at practice?
The biggest peak in terms of pure numbers of just people, it's after we do Recapalooza, which is like one of our main advertising things on campus. It's something the rec here hosts, and every club is there. And, we've gotten pretty good at selling the club to people and showing them what's about, especially picking up old football players that still want to hit people, pick up a lot of those guys. I mean, there are some practices or there are some times where we have 60 guys at a single practice. Now, of course, as the very freshman, because the regular is for freshmen, as a freshman college thing that you kind of come out and try some stuff, we get some people that stick, but some people that don't. Yeah. So that number kind of naturally hovers around the 45 to 50 mark.
Gotcha.
Just like as people pick it up, people come back, or people begin trying it just in the middle of the semester.
Griffith, how did you get recruited? Because this is your first year. Were you part of this Recapalooza recruitment?
I'll be honest, I was not. My uncle and my stepdad played rugby, and I was like, I heard that A&M had a rugby team, so I came out to try out for the first night, and it got rained out. So they said, come back tomorrow. I said, okay, I can do that. And I did. But cool. I was just exploring A&M, and I saw that, and that's something I wanted to do.
Nice. Okay. So how many recruits do y'all have? Do you have a list of recruits that are already coming in next year?
If anyone were to have that, it would be Johnny.
I
heard the recruiting
it.
class was pretty successful, of the same level as last year. So if we're doing it off of same levels as last year, it should be another like 16 to 20 recruits.
Wow.
I think last year we recruited, we knew that we had around 20 coming in, and out of those 20, like 13, like really stuck to it. Like came out of practice from day one, did all the preseason training and everything, and they're currently playing.
Yeah. Currently at the Crawfish Boil yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Nice. Man, that's pretty awesome. A group of 20 coming in. Yeah.
That's I think the number Johnny was telling us.
Okay, cool. So, man, you're adding that into the mix of things. You know, when y'all compete in the Lone Star games, is it just one team, or are y'all going to be able to have two teams out there? You know?
No, I believe the agreement is we're only allowed one team.
Yeah.
Because Lone Star was the other teams of Lone Star were.
They're very hesitant of us joining because they didn't want A&M having two teams, right? Knowing that we have a Red River team having, this is just a developing thing. Like, we're playing a developing side. And our Gray side, the expectation for our Gray side was win the cup.
Yeah.
Beat everyone. This is not, we didn't go there to play, like to throw in our players. I didn't know what they were doing. The expectation was for them to win and compete, right? And we gave, all the teams we played, we gave them a run for their money.
Nice. Cool. So, new recruits come in. What are their dues and what do they get? Like, what's their? Because like
We're speaking my language now.
Yeah.
So currently, recruitment dues or for new player dues. So that's your first semester of playing rugby. They're set at $250. After your first semester, so if it's your second semester, if it's your fourth, if it's your sixth, dues are $400. That's a $150 increase from previous dues. We actually made the change. Manu, it was going into this year, right?
Yes, we increased it 50 in a year ago, and then coming in the fall, 250 new, 400 returning. Just inflation, and we needed to increase.
Yeah, so we had like a total increase of about $100. Sorry, I said 150 before, about $100 over the past year. And that's just because things were more expensive. We had to, travel costed a lot more after COVID. We had a bit of COVID where travel was easy, but we couldn't actually travel. And then coming out of it, everything just cost more. So working to get players to those distance games, even if it was just like a 3-hour drive, club reimbursements cost more, hotels cost more, planes cost a lot more, and we just needed to increase those dues. So if you are a returning player that comes in, let's say you're a sophomore, in total you spend $800 to be a player for the full year. And if you add in our 777s fundraising, that's $300. So in total, you're looking at $1,100 for a player to play rugby at A&M.
And then for a new player, the $250 that they pay will include a warm-up jersey, or 2 warm-up jerseys, a maroon and a white one, a pair of shorts, and a polo for travel.
Okay.
Gotta look good.
That is so the $1,100 though. That there's $300 that you could fundraise though, like right. So,
correct.
Yeah. So like you have the opportunity to only have to pay $800 then, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. You know what the sad thing is, man? That's more expensive than what it is to play men's rugby. You know.
Way more expensive.
We went from being one of the cheapest clubs in the state to one of the most expensive ones, but I can assure you that we definitely need it.
Absolutely. It honestly hasn't. That amount actually hasn't changed much from when we were there. You know.
Yeah. That was a concerning issue.
Well, our dude. Well. I think it was like around $1,200 to $1,600 is what it was. I'm sure if I went back into that old terrible laptop that I had as a student, I could probably find that rec allocation presentation that I did every year. But I want to say it was about $1,600 for a player to come in, pay your dues, and then go on a fall break and spring break trip. Because that would pay for it was like a $300 or $400 trip basically that you had to somehow come up with the funds, or fundraise for it. I know the 777 Ranch, fundraise. One of our guys is the one that brought it on, and it's been every year our biggest fundraise, right? We're getting 10 to 14 to $15,000 from it every year. Which, by the way, thank you to the Rand and Jared Rand family for that. They continue to give that every year.
Very much thank you.
Yeah. And it's our biggest income, I think we did another one where we raffled off a spring break trip one year, but it costs to like go and have those competitions, man. And I know like a lot of like guys from me and Matt's, or excuse me, the Yeti's age, like those trips were just huge in us gaining that experience and like just being a better club and team together, man. It really did bring us together. So, nice. All right.
If I could say something really quick,
yeah,
about the dues. I mean, I definitely feel like as a new player paying that dues, it was a big surprise because I was like, oh, okay, I think this club's free, and then they told me the price, and I was like, oh, okay, but once I actually started, like, for those who pay the dues and go to the practices every night and wear their like jerseys proudly, and like even if it's just your polo on school, like it's worth it in my opinion. And I mean, I've even had to pay the returning dues. And again, I thought it was worth it because for the amount that we get out of those practices and the amount that like the current officers and everyone puts into the club, I mean, it's worth it. Like for like what Matthew was saying, it's a hard job returning those dues from what I've been told, and not returning the excuse me, but paying for like the gas and getting everyone organized. But they do it wholeheartedly, and it's worth it. But that was my 2 cents. Thank you very much.
Back up, Brad. That is also another reason we increased our dues, right? We had an issue where we had because we were a cheaper club than everyone else at A&M. We were one of the cheapest, realistically. We had people come who did it like they were there just for the social aspect of rugby, just for have another social group, and practice was like they wouldn't try as hard in practice, and they would goof around all the time, and like if you're not going to help build a team, then we don't need that. So now it is more expensive, but if you're going to pay that means you're showing commitment, and you're going to come to these practices and going to help this team be better, right? So it's a trade-off. Yes, it's more expensive, but we're only keeping those players that are going to put their time and effort to be part of A&M Rugby.
Dude, I respect the hell out of that. Both of y'all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I did notice y'all got some new sponsorship this year. So like, tell me where that came from, man. Like, because your boy eats some tahini with his fruit every day. So I'm a big supporter. So,
Manu, please explain this. I need to step away for a moment, but okay. Manu has this.
Cool.
So the reason we got sponsorships, we're very fortunate that one of our players' dads is very well connected, and he was very willing to give to the club and help the club grow. So he put me in contact with both. His son, his uncle, he's in the board of tahini, and he wanted his son to get the experience of doing a business presentation. And then Matt and I worked with him to create this business presentation to present to tahini. And we gave them for $5,000. We gave them the back of our jersey and the shoulder. And then they were very happy with it because we post them everywhere and everything. Then we have Takis as well. Takis, that was through me. I reached out randomly. And I'm very fortunate that I speak Spanish. I'm bilingual, so speaking Spanish helps a lot with them because my conversations with Takis are all in Spanish, and it's just me like asking, hey, this is what they offer, this is what they want. Like, I asked for money, they said yes. It was just getting the right amount because Takis sponsors A&M football as well. So they thought A&M Rugby was very similar to A&M football, and we were like, we're a sports club. We're not that big yet. And so once that was all cleared up, once we cleared all of that up, they were still very happy.
Say that again. Sorry. I said like we're ranked, and the football team's not. So.
Exactly. And then so Takis was great. Once everything was cleared, we still got money from them. That's why we got warm-up tubs. We were able to provide with their money, every single player that was coming back, new and returning, everyone a brand new pair of warm-up tops and shorts that I know Matt's about to go get. And then the other sponsors, I work with Chuck a lot to get sponsorships. So Grin Dog with Joel, I worked with him to design our new jerseys. The ones that we currently use that our Maroon side uses, I designed them with him. So I asked him if he could, if he wanted to sponsor it, and he said yes. Then we have Oskai Blue, which is another mom willing to donate to the club, and she was very happy to do so, which is great. And then Sheaf and Stone, which I'm sure Dr. Sheaf is very happy. He always donates money via Old Maroon or to our endowment, and so more than happy to have him as well. And so I'm wrapping up the process right now. I just designed new jerseys for the upcoming season because Takis wanted to be in the front of it, so they paid us $11.4K for that spot. Wow. And so with that, Chuck and I agreed that we're going to keep the rates for this fall season for the 2023-2024 the same for the most part. And then for the 2024-2025 season, since we're expecting to grow significantly, where we're starting to routinely go to playoffs, winning first round of playoffs, going to second round and everything, we're going to increase the spots so that our rates and our jerseys so that we can get more sponsorship money so that we can get these travel fees and we can start getting the experience that we need to.
Wow, nice. That was my question. Is like, so where were these sponsorship money? Like, how is it being broken down? Was it just going to the kit, or was it hey?
Yes, so actually, have you all seen our kit? Our jersey?
It looks great.
Our jersey.
Yeah,
our jersey.
The jersey.
Have y'all seen it? I have one. That's why. If not, I can show it to y'all.
I've seen it from social media and what y'all been playing in.
Go grab it, Manu. Go grab it. It'll make a good video. While he's out doing that, I'll show off the practice kit that each player gets. As you can see, there's a wonderful design here.
Oh, nice.
And a big old Takis on the back, as you can see. But each player gets two of them, and they're surprisingly well. I mean, not surprisingly. It's from Paladin. They're very well made, and they last. They can definitely take a beating. And quite honestly, it does two things for us fantastically. Is one, they're nice enough to wear around, so we don't just exclusively wear in rugby practice. So it gets the club known better, and also when you have a big old Takis logo on your back, a lot of people like talking about Takis.
Yeah.
So.
The amount of times I've been asked, wow, you have Takis on your back? I'm like, yeah.
To join A&M Rugby.
Yeah.
So,
y'all give out free Takis at practice?
All the water bottles are lined with little Takis dust.
I asked Takis to send me Takis, and they're yet to do so.
We're going to have him at Garrett Jones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, right, so here's the jersey. So the front spot, right, 10K, the Oskai Blue. Here's where we got Tekin at. They're here and right there. Right, that right there was 5K. This is 1250, and the bottom where Dr. Sheaf is, was 3K. Right,
Gotcha.
and then just because of Chuck and I discussed it, and we both came to an agreement to where we should keep the rates the same. And then increase them, and we will, because we are expected to have national exposure. And so if you want to be on our jersey, you have to pay the cost to be nationally exposed. Nice. And that's our expectation and our ultimate goal.
And when you say Chuck, you're talking about Mr. Chuck Martin, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Never heard Mr. Chuck Martin.
Yeah.
His current fundraising chair for Old Maroon, right? He's fundraising, right?
Yeah. Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's awesome. So, I'm glad that y'all are having these conversations with the Old Maroon board. Because I know previously there was, the communication with them. That's what we were really working on. And I think the Old Maroon members just want to know, like, hey, what's that conversation? And y'all are doing really well. I'm really happy, like that communication is there, and some guidance from, dude, some of the best Old Maroon guys. Chuck Martin, like, always there, man. Like, he was there for us, dude. A lot of those guys, man, like, they're the reason why we do this, and continue to get back. And, I want to make sure that there's another group of guys that are coming back that are younger than me and Matt, putting their hands up, so we want to try and figure out, how we can get them involved, like Chuck Martin, or coming back and giving, the donations and sponsorships. So, I did see on here, do you have a few other, like, your, where is it? Sorry, I had it marked down here. Your trainer, the trainer cost, is that somebody that you'll have coming in that travels with you guys?
Yeah, the man.
Yeah,
the man,
Rick's the guy. No, so Rick, yes, we have a athletic trainer that comes to all of our games. If we're in Texas, he comes to those games as well. Actually, he is coming with us to Atlanta too. But Rick is he works for the physician center here in College Station. Mm-hmm. So he's on call because we have to have a trainer at rec events with our games being a contact sport. So we formed a relationship with Rick for years, and he's very reliable. I mean, he's one of the most knowledgeable trainers that I know, because, or at least I've had the privilege of meeting, because I have other trainers asking me if I know Rick. Because they talk about him. So yeah, it's a benefit the team gets to have, and it's one that if we were without, it would be very noticeable.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember.
Does the rec center not provide trainers for you?
They provide EMTs. They provide trainers at practice, but not for our games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Matt, if you remember, Matt, if you remember when at our home games, the trainers that we did have were the rec sports trainers which we appreciate, of course. But I think they were just good to give us some Advil. So maybe
I'm not saying you're not doing better now. It's just an added cost from what we had.
Yeah.
I think I was better at treating my own injuries than they were, but I was thankful they were there.
Yeah, we say that, but as I said, I just woke up and my shoulder is killing me. So, like the short-term and long-term effects, right, Matt? So
we'll compare when y'all turn 36. Call us and we'll compare notes.
Yeah. What is it? Well, we haven't had a player that's going in to be like a doctor yet. So, or like a medical doctor. So maybe we'll give Rick a break when we have one of those. And
we got one. He's a plastic surgeon. Is that good enough? After.
We're sorry.
Yeah. Well, maybe Dr. Schusterman needs to, help out with the, team medical expenses. So him and any other medical doctors we have on the team, that feel like they could help donate, right? Coaching expenses, man. Is it split between us and Old Maroon, or are y'all fully funding that?
No, so it's currently split between us and Old Maroon. Old Maroon pays a significant portion already, so we're very thankful for that. However, the club has had increased coaching dues just because of our situation. Also, I mean, everyone talks about the inflation or this or that, but it just costs more to have a full coaching staff like we do. Other clubs really don't have that privilege. Now we are lucky to be able to pay it, and I'm very glad we are. But it just costs a lot. It just costs a lot to get the quality of coaches we have and to have them stick around, which is also a tough piece to have.
Yeah. No, I mean, Matt and I, or the Yeti and I, touched on this, on the last episode, and man, the time that the coaches put in, away from their families and to be with, some of us young guys to, help lead us, both in life and on the field, hats off to them, dude, and giving them money helps, but it's still their time away from some of the family, and I know
they do a lot of work that no one ever sees.
Absolutely, dude. The amount of time on film and just in general preparation, dude. Like, it's tough. And we can look. I can look at this number and know what the number is from Maroon and can say like it's probably not enough. For us to get the number of coaches that we actually need. A head coach, a front attack coach, forwards coach.
Well, actually on that point, so as hopefully Maroon knows, Coach Lowry is leaving us this semester. And we have a whole new squad of coaches coming in. We have 3 coaches. 3, correct? Griffith's actually met most of them, I believe.
So we have 3 coming in, and then it's just we just have some new coaches coming in. We're talking to another one. He won't cost anything. He's coming more on like volunteer
basis. Yep.
Yeah,
but
it's looking good.
So yeah, we have 3 fully on, 1 volunteer, and Johnny will be coming from time to time as well to help out with the front row. So
the adjustment we want to make is to have a head coach, have a forwards coach, and a back coach, and not increase the expense. And right now we're on track to do that, which I am very glad for, and it'll hopefully expose the weaknesses of this team that we can very much make better.
Nice. So y'all have Mills coming. Y'all have I think his first name's Luke, who's the head coach, right?
Yes, Luke. Yes. Luke's the new head coach. Connor is the new attack coach and sevens coach. And then Griffith, do you remember the name of the third coach y'all interviewed recently?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sorry. There's been a lot of things going on with rugby.
The way Johnny explained it to me, Luke's going to be the head coach. Connor Mills is going to be the attack and sevens coach. Our third coach will be mainly focused with our gray side.
Oh, nice.
To help them develop even better. And then our fourth coach is just a volunteer to help out where needed. And then Johnny will be still helping out with the front row, and he'll come as much as needed as well.
Man, Johnny just wants to come do 5 a.m. scrum trainings, doesn't he?
He did ask if we could
Dude, those were brutal, man. But like the best trainings though too. For a front row player, dude. Like, I was undersized in college to play a tight head prop. It seems like a lot of us were always just converted, backline players, flankers that were just a little bit on the bigger side. Oh, you can play loose head and tight head. But because of Johnny's 5 a.m. scrum practices and his attention to detail, our technique was always better than everyone else's, man. So,
I know we talked about lack of competition every now and then, but our scrums are dominant. We did have a couple bad ones against Cal Poly, but we were definitely in those scrums. Anyway,
I mean, those scrums, like you said, they were kind of tough in the beginning, but once the top head and the front row, they started really thinking about and analyzing. You can see from them lifting up in the beginning of the game to coming back down, and then just pushing them through towards the end of the game.
So I do have a question. With being part of the Red, is it D1A? So you're part of D1A, right?
Yes.
Are you, for instance, y'all win this next weekend? We're gonna have to, look at hey, how do we fundraise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Does D1A provide any scholarship, or do they have any funds to help out, or does the rec have any additional funds that we could out to?
No. If you know about any, I would love to hear.
Yeah.
From D1A at least, for the rec though, we actually get an allocation from the rec for each annual academic year, and we currently blew right through that with booking this Marrietta trip. We've used some of the funds in the past to fund tech, going to tech and paying for vans to drive out there. However, I'll tell you what, flights are a really easy way to clear out an account. I actually believe, after we bought flights, we have $10.32 left in our allocation from the rec.
Wow.
And then Manu paid for the rest with his credit card.
Oh gosh.
I bought hotels.
I have a $8,000 bill sitting that I'm waiting to get reimbursed on.
Yeah, I would have used mine, but my credit card was maxed out from booking the hotel rooms for the 23, 25.
That like hurts me because I'm already like, if I did that, I could just hear my wife being like, you did what? You know, I got this credit card, notification, Steven, for, these hotels. What are you doing?
Especially the men's club, where you're not going to go ask everybody to repay you back. It ain't never going to happen.
We'll see. I mean, what is it? I'm the treasurer. I'm making sure Manu and I get paid back.
We're going to pay back for sure.
Man, so, gosh, it just comes to show, like, the need for Old Maroon to be like, hey, here's where the funds go, right? Like, y'all want to give and like help out,
Well, I mean, it's one of those beasts. It's just the nature of a business. It's the nature of just running an organization. If you had more money, you can do more things. Now, with the money that we already receive from Old Maroon, we're so thankful. I mean, we are the only club that gets to have like the benefits that y'all give us. So, I mean, if those benefits increase, the team just gets better, and you'll see us more often. And maybe we can afford that 2-star hotel
Instead of a 1-star, yeah.
If there's like any recommend, I would still make y'all like have to do 4 to a room. Because like
no,
God.
guarantees 4 to a room.
I think one of like my favorite thing as a senior player was like room assignments to like try and like get some of like the guys to like interact with people that they wouldn't normally do. Like I always boards and backs with them, and like the divas like that were backs. Like you're sleeping with one of the nastiest props for sure. Like you're sleeping with the stinky one.
Or what was it for Sevens? I booked the hotel for Sevens Nationals Nationals in Houston months ago, and James is like, we're gonna have like 2 to a room, right? I'm like, no, you're doing 4 to a room, and I don't care.
Yeah.
The line I used was, Coach, our quality of living here in College Station is low. It does not take a lot to meet those.
Yeah, no. Well, and it's funny because like you start getting used to some of those guys that like, oh no, he's a good bedmate. Like I want this guy.
Right. Like who do you want to room with? Yeah.
He sleeps quietly.
Yeah. Nice. Sorry, guys, man, this has been awesome talking to you guys. Like I can't thank y'all enough for spending some time to come to talk to me in the Yeti. I think we continue doing something like this, getting to know the players, understanding like, hey, what are the expenses? I didn't even touch on this. We had the live stream. Is there a way to continuously live stream games?
Okay. It's Steven, we're having a really good conversation.
How much time do we have?
I'll let you know we're in the works on that. We've been aiming this semester to get that in the works, and it will hopefully be coming to Old Maroon soon. Our plan is for next year we can actually start doing live streams. It's that way you guys can actually watch us play live. I mean, watch us play and dominate some teams.
Live.
But we've been aiming to get that done. The method in which we do it has been a point of contention. However, we're figuring it out. Rest assured.
Good. No. Hey, that's perfect. We're coming up on an hour 15, so I think we've got pretty good. We've had pretty good conversation.
I think Griffith's battery already died, and Manu's been put in the witness protection service.
For some reason, my screen decided to go dark. I don't know.
All right. Well, guys, thanks again, dude. I mean, this was fantastic. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. maybe we'll do this again sometime soon. So just let us know.
I hope so.
Let's keep the communication going. If you got other guys that you think would be, worth us having a conversation on, I know we're going to have Coach James on soon. We're also going to have the current president of the Old Maroon on soon as well. So people that want to be on this, reach out to me and the Yeti. We want to have y'all on. So
I think after playoffs are all done and after y'all's banquet, it'd be good to have some people on and kind of do a full season recap. We can, spotlight the guys who won awards in the banquet and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to do it. Or maybe we can do a outgoing senior kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
No, that'd be perfect. Let's do that.
Well, it's 25 of us, so.
No, that'd be great. Send us the link Send us the list of names that we should get on there.
Of course. Sounds good. Well, Stephen, Yeti, thank you guys so much for having us. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
See you guys.
Have a good one.